Hey guys, welcome to this first hybrid edition of the Patreon exclusive videos. Of course, this is still going to be Patreon exclusive, but as I mentioned in another video, previously, it's also going to be for a limited time on DeviantArt as well, but it's going to be under the mature section. And what that means is if you don't have a DeviantArt account, then you can't really view it. And if you do, and you're of age, if you will, you can go to your settings and switch it to mature if that's what you want to choose to do so, to check out what I have. And I think also you need to be watching the channel, watching the page as well, the artist's page as well. But anyway, let's get on to today's subject. And it's a very interesting one because, as somebody that grew up with, animation, grew up with comics, grew up with video games, if you will, we're always introduced to different worlds and different lands and characters and stuff like that. And when it comes to fan fiction, we like to capitalize on the fact that we can put these characters in any kind of environment we imagine. Sometimes we think we can put them in a story that's based on a story they were already in officially, but do it 20 times better. But one of the most popular fan fictions that we like to involve the characters in are, stories that, well, basically from a general audience perspective, you would never see. And of course we're talking adult fiction, adult fan fiction, adult entertainment. Imagine basically the kind of stuff you would see on late nights on Showtime, or you would go on the internet and find on places like Pornhub or X videos. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Those kind of stories. And when you look at the kind of stories that, some of our characters are put into, yeah, they are quite, as they would say, quite erotic. They are quite descriptive, if you know what I mean, in the action that takes place. They're quite, lewd. They're quite NFSW, if you will. They're basically all over the place, and they are involving and utilizing fetishes in these stories sometimes that you would think, in reality are not possible, and they're not. But you would think to yourself, wow, I didn't think someone would depict a character doing that, or doing this, or whatever. It just blows your mind. So, now I want to say something, and I don't mean any offense by this, no offense. But when you look at some of these stories, most of the time, the characters that get, erotic with each other, that get it on, get intimate, if you know what I mean, are main female characters. They are main female characters, that get together and they have a good old time, if you know what I mean. And what I mean by good old time, it's like, again, the way things are described in the stories just blow your mind. And if that's not enough, like I said, some of the fetishes that they utilize, again, you would think are not possible in reality, and some of them aren't. Like, when you look at adult Sonic fan fictions, and let's say they go to lesbian route, you have Sally with Bunny, Nicole with Mina, you have Julie Sue with Linda, and sometimes they do things to each other that, again, in reality are not physically possible. Like Sally will unbirth Bunny back into her womb, or Bunny will soft force Sally and keep her in the stomach in a non-digestible way, just so they could be close with each other for the night. Same thing with Mina and Nicole. Same thing with Julie Sue and Linda. Stuff like that. And you're thinking to yourself, why? And you think to yourself, man, why are they doing this? Why are they going this far? What drives them to do this? And again, I think the main thing for the writer, for the storyteller, is it's the freedom. It's the unlimited tap potential. And again, it's not just the Sonic franchise either. Sometimes other franchises, like Disney, gets involved. Gets put to the test in these kind of matters. And it's not just in writing either. It's also, you could see this kind of stuff in SFM animation, SFM 3D animation, on some of the adult sites that I just mentioned, xvideos.com, Pornhub, you name it. And it just blows your mind when you read about it in story form and even watch it in visual form. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And here's what's funny. Again, I'm a fan of the Sonic franchise. And the one thing I've noticed with some of the Sonic franchises is there's one character that always gets put in a situation and not even the reader understands why until pretty much the end of the story or the middle of the story when it becomes a lot clearer. And that's Miles Prower, aka Tails. Sometimes he'll be involved in a story to where basically, like this one story on fanfiction.net right now under the mature ratings, where he's basically screwing every single female character that he comes across. And most of these characters in story, because this is like an alternate universe kind of deal, are married or potentially going to be married. And it's like every time he comes across them, he's, getting it on with them because they're dissatisfied with the suitors or they're dissatisfied with their husbands or whatever the case may be. And they urge, they hunger for that one more moment, that one more lustful, erotic night, to be a bad girl, to break the rules and all that. And it's not just characters like, and the characters basically that Tails gets involved in when it comes to this story, or some of these stories, they're basically the same. It's basically the same kind of lineup of girls. It's Sally, it's Fiona, it's Nicole, it's Mina, it's Vanilla. Yeah, Vanilla, if you will. It's it could be characters from the Sonic comic like Tico, Amy Rose, you name it, Rouge. It's all these different characters. But then you get a few surprises in there. Like in this story called Tails and the Adventures of Tails and the Satisfied Wives Club or something like that, one of the women he gets it on with is his own mom, Rosemary Prower, the one introduced in the comics. And it's like, holy guacamole. And it's all because she's starting to have these urges too. And she's like, what? And it's like all these characters get this one moment, just like Tails throughout gets this moment taken over, like this thought process takes over their minds and says, do this, do it, you want it, do it. And oh my goodness, they just go crazy here. They just go nuts, balls to the walls, they call it, with all these intimate sessions. Yeah, they have a lesbian session here and there between Sally and Nicole, and I'm pretty sure Rosemary and Vanilla down the line. In a future chapter or whatever, but still, it's like, holy guacamole, you can't believe what you're reading. You can't believe what you're reading or even imagining in your mind. And again, the story basically is the fact that Tails comes across every single female character, and every time he comes across them, they want to do it. Like I said, the last one he was doing it with was Julie Sue. And now the next one, going into the next chapter, is her daughter from the Mobius Years Later saga, Lala Sue, and then potentially her Julie Sue's sister Linda. And every character, again, every female character that's doing it with Tails in here, basically getting him to burst and basically feel the womb with his greedy seed as it's described in the story, basically fertilizing them to potentially be mothers of his kids. Each of them has a reason for it, and that's dissatisfaction. Either they don't want to be with somebody they're being forced to marry by law, either they don't want to be with somebody because they abuse them, or again, it's this dissatisfaction, or the fact that the husband is always putting work over the relationship, things like that. It's just crazy. All the motives, all the reasons these ladies have to be with Tails. And what's crazier is Tails' instincts just take over. It's like depending on, well, not depending, but majority of the time, every time he's with one of these girls, he tries to get off of them, he tries to stop, but all of a sudden that other part in his mind just says, no, keep going, this is what you want her, bang her, do this, do that. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy to see all that. And again, it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind when you see these kind of stories. But again, yeah, Tails is the kind of character that get involved in this kind of stuff. And it's not just with these characters. it's not just with them either. There are stories, if not SFM animations, where he's turned into a female. And mainly it's due to the fact that I believe people are confused of whether or not he's, whether or not he's a girl or a boy back in the, in the earlier days of his existence. Nobody knew. Even though his name was Miles per Hour, he still was voiced by a female actress, and I think that's what led to the confusion. And then in some countries he's referred to as a girl anyway, so they're like, why not just go with it? But yeah, but getting back to these stories, it's like, it just blows your mind when you see all these adult fan fiction stories based not just on Sonic, the Sonic franchise, but Disney, Hanna-Barbera, Warner Brothers. I mean, palcomics.com is one of the sites that through commissions, through payment, makes these a visual reality. And they give you page after page after page. And it's not just Sonic, it's MLP. It's, like I said, Hanna-Barbera, it's Warner, but it's anime, it's anime, it's manga. PAL Comics makes it a reality to visual representation in comics. It just blows my mind. Just blows my mind. And again, the one denominator here with some of these stories is characters like Tails, and even in MLP's cases, Spike being the ones that the girls are lusting after and want to be with, no matter what the situation. But I just thought I'd come on here, talk about that in this Patreon exclusive video, as well as this now hybrid Patreon exclusive, mature DeviantART exclusive video for you guys to check out. Again, support the Patreon if you can. I really appreciate it. $1 gets you a shout out, recognition. $3 gets you that same thing, as well as the exclusive video content. And again, if you're on DeviantArt, this is for a limited time. Don't know how long it's going to be. You have to have a DeviantArt account, and you have to be of age to check these videos out. So until next time, guys, thank you for watching. God bless. Take care. Give me your thoughts in comments down below if you view these, and what your thoughts are overall on these kind of stories, and characters like Tails and Spike basically being like the catalyst, like the main reason characters like the female, like Sally and Twilight and Nicole and Rarity and all of them want to get it on, if you know what I mean. Let me know down below, comment if you like, and I am out.